we want to do a little update on what's happening in Israel because the big announcement from the White House today. President Trump came out and said that he is going to make a decision on whether or not the United States will get directly involved in this war with Iran, whether the U.S. will use their bunker buster bomb.
Bunker buster, yes.
Yeah, to get in there.
Not bumper.
And whatever else he decides to do. And he said he's going to make that decision within 2 weeks. So everybody's saying it's going to come in 2 weeks. He said within 2 weeks. So there's a couple things here, Gayle. It does two things. One, it actually for Trump, where I think he was getting close to saying let's get involved, it takes a step back, and now it could be his out where we're not going to get involved, because I know he's got people in his ear on both sides of this. But also it could be something where he tells Iran nothing's going to happen for a couple of weeks, they relax, and then maybe in the middle of that he drops the bomb. I don't know. Right now Iran is pretty much, the skies are controlled by Israel. There's their defenses are basically non-existent now because of Israel's attacks. So I guess we could fly our bombers in there and drop the bomb where we need to, kind of unharmed.
What's going on with the Strait of Hormuz, though? That's what I want to know about. And the other thing is that Trump said we know where the Ayatollah is hiding, and I'm thinking, well, why did you I thought. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell him what you know. You're going to find out. Yeah. Like, when Israel attacked Iran, which they've done before, I thought, well, that's Israel attacking Iran again. But this time it was quite a whammy after what's going on with the Palestinians. But when you say, well, we know where the Ayatollah is, like, shouldn't we keep that a secret?
Yeah. I guess they probably know.
Should we say to his intermarry, like, we should send him some flowers where he is, right, and quietly let him know, we know where you are.
So yesterday, Israel struck 100 targets in Iran, including the heavy water reactor in Iraq, which is where they could make nuclear power there. That was kind of shut down several years ago, and they think it wasn't being used, but they took it out anyway. There is still some nuclear matter there. There's heavy water there. There's some indication there might be a bit of a leak there based after this attack. Iran still sending ballistic missiles into Israel. One was directed at and hit a hospital, one of the biggest hospitals in southern Israel. So that happened yesterday. So Israel's knocking down about 90% of the rockets that Iran is sending its way. They get about 90%, but 10% get through.
Yes,
and they're hitting places. Israel's had, I think, over 20 casualties now, and many hundreds of people who are injured. I think for the most part, Israel's so prepared for this. They have sirens that go off. They have an advanced warning system. So when they know the bombs are coming, those sirens go off. It has to be terrifying for the people there in Israel. That siren goes off in the middle of the night. Half the time you run into the bomb shelter. You stay there for an hour and a half until they say, okay, all clear. You go back and go to bed, and then an hour and a half later it can happen again. So it's just terrifying for these people. But those who get into the bomb shelters are generally okay. The ones who are getting hurt are the ones who either aren't able to or don't go to the shelter.
And let's think about the size of this area that is so incendiary in this world. If you look at the size of the planet and you look at Israel, it's smaller than Maricopa County.
Yeah. Oh, way smaller. Yeah, it's incredible. And it's, I think there's 45 Arab and Muslim countries that take up a lot of land and a lot of area and a lot of people, and Israel has just one little slot. So but I'll tell you what Israel's done with Iran has just been amazing. If you're just seeing it from a strategic standpoint, from a military standpoint, they've really crippled Iran right now. I hope Iran just says, let's find a way to have peace. Let's figure this out. And
let us not forget how much state-sponsored terror they sponsored. Yeah. I mean, the fact that Israel has to find peace with these people, to me, it's like, I feel like, well, they don't really deserve it. They've been terrorized us. They've terrorized other people. They supported Hezbollah and everything else. And then, well, you get what you get.
So, Gayle, let me ask you, this has been the big question. Should the United States, I mean, I would hope everybody agrees Iran is not a good world partner. They're not good for the world, everything you just said. Should the United States get involved directly in this war? Because, my thing was sell the bunker buster bomb to Israel and let them deal with it, right? We sell weapons to other countries all the time. It's not our problem. But this thing is so big, and it comes with its own plane. Like,
yes,
it's not
like you can't stealthily fly it over and just say, well, we sold it to. We didn't know what they were going to do with it.
And it takes special pilots and special training. This isn't something where you just give it to them and go, here, go drop this off. You have to have training. So the only country that can drop that bomb is the United States. So the question is, should the United States get involved and drop that bomb on this one area, this one nuclear site in Iran where they're allegedly making enough uranium and powerful enough to create a bomb?
Well, what's interesting now is this civil war going on in the Republican Party, and it's not the civil war of that over that big, beautiful bill.
Yeah.
It's over whether we should get involved in this war.
Right.
Because Marjorie Taylor Greene and a couple of others are saying, and Steve Bannon, they are against this.
Yeah.
They say he should be focusing on the ICE raids. We shouldn't be in a foreign entanglement. And other ones are saying, and then you got crazy Laura Loomer saying, I'm going to out anybody who's not supporting the president on this.
Wherever Trump falls. Yeah. And Trump has been on both sides of this. I mean, he's been saying for years that the United States should not get into these wars. They shouldn't get into more wars, and certainly wars that we can't get out of. But he's also been saying for years that Iran should never have a nuclear weapon. So the question for me is, and it's pretty clear cut, if we can stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon now, we should stop them. Because, and by the way, they were supposedly days or weeks away from having it. And that's not Israel saying it. That's the United Nations saying it. And the United Nations is no friend of Israel. They came out recently for the first time in 20 years of doing these inspections in Iran, and for the first time said they are not following they're not doing what they say they're doing, and they are days away from having a nuclear weapon.
Well, what did they expect Israel to do? Like sit back and do nothing?
Right. For a country that Iran's whole thing, when they had their revolution 42 years ago, their whole thing was, we're here to destroy the country of Israel. We want to get rid of all the Jews, get rid of Israel. It shouldn't even be there. That's the whole thing. So I have to tell you, imagine if there was somebody that the United States had an enemy who said we're going to get a nuclear weapon. Would they stop it now or not? And I forget about the Israel part. Obviously, I support Israel. Let's use North Korea as an example. Not that many years ago, we had the opportunity to stop North Korea from getting a nuclear weapon. We didn't do it. Nobody did it. And now they have a nuclear weapon. And once you have it, it's hard. You can't just go in there and take it away. So
it's like, hand it over.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to give me?
And now you have a dictatorship in North Korea run by half a crazy person who's now building ballistic missiles. He's building missiles and weapons that can reach the United States, and he has a nuclear weapon. So do we want to allow such an evil terror country like Iran to have a nuclear weapon? By the way, I'm not talking about the people of Iran. I'm not saying we should bomb the people. I'm asking the question, we have the opportunity to make sure this country and these leaders in Iran don't get a nuclear weapon. Should we take the steps now to make sure they don't get it? And it's risky. If we attack, let's not pretend Iran's not going to retaliate against our troops that are in that area. We don't know if Iran, they may have sleeper cells here in the United States. They could set off bombs here. We don't know what they can do. We've seen what they're capable of. So this is not a risk-free endeavor. I understand the question, but for me, the answer is yes. You stop Iran now before they get a nuclear weapon. Do you think we should or not? I'm putting you on the spot there.
That's
Gayle.
above my pay grade, and I'm not running for office. That's why I vote for certain people to make those decisions.
All right.
But you know what? No, I don't want them. I do not want Iran to have nukes, but I also don't want us to get involved in a war. But,
it's a tough decision.
It's like you got to do they sponsor terrorism and they need to be held to account for that. I don't want to give them a pass and say, okay, we agreed, you be nice. That doesn't work anymore.
It is interesting to see. Those things, the cartoons where they put the on either side whispering in your ear, the decision you have to make. Trump's getting that right now with his own supporters, where some are saying, yeah, go stop Iran and the bomb, and the others are saying, no, don't do it, don't get us into a war with Iran. So it's interesting to see it play out.
Say what you will about Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Obama, Clinton, all of them. I'm glad I'm not the one making that decision.
Yeah. They all, except for Trump, they all got gray hair while they were in the office. So it's we don't know what color Trump's real hair is. We don't know.
It's a little blonde. It's a little silver.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.